Good afternoon, everybody. Just coming in. Someone give me a mic check or sound check, rather, please, if you would. Great. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you. Okay, I don't want to wait too long. I know it's the weekend and it's getting close to holidays for much of the United States. I don't know about other parts of the world if they do Thanksgiving or something similar. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of traveling going on. So we'll just go ahead and just kind of roll through this just to check out what's going on with the market. We'll look at Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Bitcoin dominance that it has over altcoins, and then we'll check out just a quick glance through some altcoins. So if anybody remembers from the last live stream, we were pretty well bullish on altcoins. Then when we mentioned that there were going to be some lower time frame breakdowns, but I think for the most part, we were not expecting any new lows on altcoins, because most of them have been holding accumulation patterns for up to 4 months now and are kind of just starting to break out of that pattern. So let's get started here and look at Bitcoin. So first off, going back to, let's see, we're looking back all the way as far as September when we pointed out here that look at our 7-day moving average right here was about to lose the 20-day moving average, and you can see this candle forcing or catching and pushing that candle back down, or getting ready to start that candle back down. So that was a very clear signal that this trend was about to continue down, and we were still overall on the macro levels bearish. But of course, our real key was right around here back in August when we rejected from 13.2. The 7-day moving average right there, that green line there, that 7-day moving average, got that rollover right there. You can see that rolling over with this rejection right here, and our price candles started to go back and fail to close above the 7-day there. So you can see that right all through here. All of these candles right here, they're not above that 7-day moving average. So I honestly don't know why Twitter was so bullish and thought we were just going to break up and go to new highs from there. That's ridiculous. But you can see how that relationship over price action changes and moves with the trend, or signals that trend shift. Because look at the 7-day here. Look at all these price candles above it. All of these price candles were above that 7-day moving average, which was continuation of that trend. And it wasn't until the 7-day rolled over right here around 13,000, rolled over, and now we started seeing the candles beneath it as resistance. That was a very, very good key factor that this run from 3,000 was over. And it was signaling a failed rally, a failed push to make and clear new highs. So this was game over from, this looks like the end of July, maybe the beginning of August, whenever we rejected from 13.2. And that's where we turned bear on macro levels. Hey, Richard, glad to have you here. So looks like towards the end of July, roughly, we were bear. We went full bear. I don't think anybody had any swing shorts from up there and just let them ride. But it was very, very clear that this run was over, and so is the overall structure of Bitcoin itself. So let's see. So this is September 23rd when I pointed out that the 7-day was about to lose this 20-day moving average here. You can see, once again, you can see that candle right there that I'm pointing at with the red arrow here being rejected and pushed down by the 7-day moving average, which is this green line, and it's about to lose the 20-day moving average. So look at the price here. We're at 9,900 here. So this was a very clear indication that this trend was going to continue bear. Okay, and let me go to the weekly here. Okay, so that same candle was right around here. I think it was this candle right here before this big drop here, before we dumped on that 20% drop there. So this is what I was pointing at there, right there towards the, yep, right there you can see at the bottom, the 23rd of September, which is the 23rd of September here on this chart. So this candle here that I was pointing to, is this big drop candle right here that we had too. So that was very clear, very evident that when we were losing that moving average, that our trend was going to continue down. And you can see how it bounced here for weekly support off of that 100-day moving average. But again, we rejected under the 20-day. There's no candle close above. The 7-day moving average did not come back up above this 20-day moving average right here. All price action is rejected and closed beneath it, and this looks like about 9,500 or 9,800 or so. And we looked, and we were bearish from that rejection point as well, off of that big 40% pump. So this game is pretty well over, and I really hate to tell that to Twitter, because everybody was just so certain that we were just going to bull flag up here and we were going up here somewhere. It was a horrible, horrible move by Twitter to think that we were just going to pump new highs with all of these lower highs here on this high time frame, and our 7-day rolled over. So I don't know where they were getting their Elliott wave counts going all the way up here to 20K again, or 30K even, I think, before the next rejection or whatever. Very, very clear signs. Very clear signs. So here we are on the 2-week now. There's that drop candle. And again, I think I noted on our last live stream that the same thing that I just showed you guys here, how this candle was being pushed down by the tip of that 7-day moving average and was about to lose the 20-day moving average. Here on the 2-week, the exact same thing happened right here. So see the top of this candle where it opened, the 7-day moving average forced it back down, and it currently lost the 20-day moving average there. So it was another one of those very, very clear signs that on this macro level, again, this is a 2-week chart, guys, on this macro level, that this candle was going to push down and reject. I just, again, for anybody that's in my group, we weren't expecting that quick of a drop. We were not that soon, but it did happen. So again, here on 3-week. Okay, so now we've zoomed out to the 3 weeks. So now we got a much bigger picture here, going over the next several months all the way up into spring. You see we found support off of the 20-day moving average there, but look at our 7-day. It's still rolled over. It's still rolled over. It's still pointing down. Price action here, you can see it underneath that 7-day moving average. And look where the last time we had price action. I'm going to highlight this in a box here if I can get my box. Okay, so let's look right here at our price candles. Okay, now look how it is underneath. Let me zoom in a little bit. Look how it is underneath that 7-day moving average as resistance. So the moving average is acting as resistance. Look when the last time that we had price action underneath the 7-day as resistance. Right up here from the failure at all-time high. So this goes all the way back to February of last year. And you can see that we had, you know, roughly over a year of a bear market cycle. So I expect the same to happen here. Hopefully it's just not going to be as drastic. It'll just be a milder version, a much slower takedown. Now to back that up, you can look at our MACD right there. Our MACD lines are about to cross under bearish. Our histogram right there, you can see just a little pinch of a one right there, just a little baby histogram right there. And that is a lot of weakness for the MACD. That's going under as well. Look at our RSI in a clear downtrend. OBV is in a clear downtrend. So there's nothing, still absolutely nothing. And I think I saw I don't want to call them out by name, but I think I saw somebody post that we still have a shot at 14K. So I'd like to know how they expect, 100% run from here and then go down. I just don't see it. I mean, this does not say we're about to pump 100% on any kind of candle or anything. So let me zoom through here, and I think I'm just going through. Yeah, so this was also from the end of September. This was a longer, higher time frame projection here. So this is the 25th of September. So this is what I had noted using the exact same methods. Looking at the RSI, looking at the OBV. This is the monthly chart here, by the way, and looking at these candle rejections, and that we would see this long, slow bleed out right here going into 2021, maybe 2022 or so, for the next 2 years or so, for Bitcoin to enter in like an accumulation phase, sideways accumulation, at the same time that governments put in place regulations, we get infrastructure and mass payment systems, and we really start to gear up for mass adoption. Because without that, there's no reason why we're going to see new all-time highs. There's no reason why anybody would start to buy Bitcoin if there's no generated hype about it. Then we just looked at that one. So yeah, we zoomed in here down to the 2-week on that same day, and this is what we're looking at. And I posted this a lot more recently. Let me see if I can go and find it. Yeah, so again, if we went back to this chart, what I showed you guys about the 7-day moving average crossing under the 20-day, and if we were comparing previous price actions in relationship to the moving averages, and what we should expect that if we were to once again find support here off of the 100-day moving average as the 100-day moves up, maybe some kind of pattern like that, we would want to see the 7-day come down and find support and build a new base off of that, which would put price, depending on where we get a candle wick to, the candle could come down and wick down as low as 4,100 all the way up to about 5,500. Then we had a max pain scenario where the 7-day fails to bounce off of the 100-day moving average here, crosses under that, and then in which case we would look to the 200-day moving average for support, which would absolutely kill Bitcoin all the way down to a price of $1,000 to $2,000. I really don't want to consider a price below $1,000 because that may actually very well just kill the entire market whatsoever. But it is certainly possible, so we certainly want to keep an open mind about it. Obviously, Twitter is wrong, and they have been wrong, so they're not obviously reliable. But we are missing, I do believe we are missing a bounce still. Look at the monthly. Even the monthly MACD is about to cross under. OBV is crossing under. Your RSI is still in a downtrend. Now, I know there were a lot of people, I don't know if they had this time frame up or so. I know a lot of people were using or looking at this log chart, and they had, some trend lines and whatnot, and pointing out to different things there. But there's some key differences also. Again, look at the relationship of the 7-day moving average. I think they were looking at a crossover on a moving average right here. But again, look at price action. All price action from the previous bull run, or the last halving rather, in 2015, all price action never failed even below the 20-day moving average. And then up here at all-time highs is when we first saw that major cross under. And there's also something very special to note right here on this candle, and this is when futures were introduced into the market. So everybody was allowed to short it. And what a better time to short, because they could short this thing down as low as they want. I really don't think they'd short it down to $200. But, you know, when they said, you know, we want institutions in, blah, 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 they're going to moon it. No, institutions were not going to moon it. They're going to short it down, and that's exactly what they did. So that was one of the key differences from previous bull cycles and bull markets that we didn't have, that we have now, is there was nothing to really hold back Bitcoin from falling. So there are also some other key points there, or here rather. Someone made a crossover reference here. Well, there's a difference because your crossover, you're making a higher high here, and your price action here, you're making a lower high. Also, you can note your RSI. Your RSI is in a clear uptrend from previous halving. We're in a clear downtrend right now. So there's just nothing that is going to convince me that we're going to some crazy high price level. I think we may actually lose the 100-day or moving average even on this 2-week log chart, and we may settle somewhere down here around 2,000 or so off of the 200-day moving average. I mean, that's what this is telling me just by looking at these indicators here, that this is going on a full reset. So price can just kind of wiggle and snake its way down, find support, and then go into an accumulation sideways phase or something, and then get its next leg. All right, so let's go to what let's see what we're at on some lower time frames and see what we can expect for, you know, a relief bounce. Okay, so we can see these green boxes here when this is roughly about where the current price action did hit. So we did hit a fairly good support zone. All right, so we can see that there's a divergence forming on the daily candle. So we got 3 touches on a trend line, making a lower low, and we got a higher low on the RSI, higher low on the OBV, and a higher low on the MACD. So this is suggestive that we are putting in, excuse me, a bullish divergence, and we should catch a bounce. Now, if I were to hide this, and let me turn off the moving averages. Okay, so now let's just look here at our colored boxes. So this is what we should expect. So this was a very similar structure here that we just broke down from. I did get one play wrong in here. I think we were supposed to bounce somewhere off of 82 to 8,500 up to 9,100 and then make this fall. So we just didn't get that bounce. So that was a bad call there on my part. On the mid-time frames were screaming for that relief bounce. I should have looked and compared this structure here. I just wasn't expecting a repeat that fast. So now what we want to see is we want to see some consolidation, some sideways movement in here, just like in this box here. Catch a relief bounce. So now we would want to put, you know, we wouldn't want to see anything higher than 8,500 or so. Because what once was support is now resistance. So we may catch another target up here at the bottom of this resistance zone. Okay, so this whole confluent zone here that was a support zone is now going to be a resistance. So this is a pretty good gap here between 78 and about 84, 8,500 or so. And this is where we would want to look for shorts again, or at least watch what happens in price action when we get up there. So right now we're kind of already mimicking this price action here. So we're going to range here probably for the next week or so. It looks very likely. Let's see how long this last pattern took. So this was almost a month. So if this were to repeat itself in any kind of way, shape, or form, fashion, or whatever, we could very well roll out the rest of the year hovering here at about this $7,000 to $7,500 range before catching a relief bounce. Because this was a pretty parabolic drop here, almost identical to this one here. And there's just, I mean, it's not really showing a continuation pattern. Since this was a big drop, it'll have to consolidate and settle. before it catches a bounce. We're not seeing, you know, the 2017 days anymore, where a big drop and then a big bounce and then down. It's going to be much more controlled. When this is going to be good for altcoins going in the rest of the year too. So let's look at what dominance is doing for altcoins. All right, so these are old, still old notes from previous live streams that we were looking at dominance. So we did fall out of that wedge perfectly as we had charted. We did hit this resistance perfectly as charted, and then now we refound this support here. Nice candle right there, nice drop candle on the dominance. So for altcoins to really continue their trend, we want to see dominance break this support, and we want to see it start working its way down into the lower 60s. For anybody new that is watching, the lower dominance gets, the more bullish it is for altcoins. So with the conjunction of Bitcoin slowly dropping, except for this dump that we just had, but with Bitcoin dropping, with dominance dropping, we're going to start to see hopefully a more stable, a more controlled takedown of Bitcoin. And the more stable it is, the better it's going to be for altcoins. And now that we see dominance dropping here, that's also going to be good for altcoins as well. So let's go see now altcoin market cap. Okay, so this is the one bearish sign here for altcoins. This is the altcoin market cap. So we were projected to come up here and at least hit this resistance, which means money would be flowing into altcoins, but this got a harsh, nasty rejection. And the MACD curled back down too. So we will hopefully want to see some kind of support hold. We turn that green. So we want to see altcoin market cap hold up above this support zone here, because if it breaks this support zone, then I think alts are pretty well dead. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't break below this zone right here. So with the Bitcoin dump, it did take altcoins with it. But however, look at this dump candle here, and then over the next few weeks it got some recovery. So let's see if we can see something similar here and start to recover and put some money back into altcoins. Okay, so Ethereum, let's look at Ethereum. Okay, so if anybody from my group, from Team Elevate, remembers, we were watching this ascending triangle, whether if it was going to play out. Too many rejections, but we were only expecting a drop back of 174. This dumped much, much further, like way further. Was not expecting that. That was 20% drop. Holy crap. But like Bitcoin, this was a pretty big drop. So now what we hope to see is some sideways consolidation before the next relief bounce up. So this is just going to be on a smaller scale here. And this wick right here, look at this wick right here off of this dump. So the bulls stepped in here and defended that wick, which is very indicative that they want to hold that support, and we catch a bounce at some point, but not without some sideways movement first. So let's see what kind of pattern that we're in here. Still very nice respect of a downward channel right here. Look at this channel right here. This ascending triangle probably threw a lot of people off right here, because this was trying really, really hard to break that 190, 195 zone and then push back up into the 200s. Massive failure though. And this one really irritated me and really frustrated me because it couldn't make up its mind which direction it wanted to go. It would look like it was going to fall out of the channel here on this candle and then popped right back up, and then it finally broke, and then it looked like it was going to catch support right here and then bounce, but massive failure. Okay, so let's go check out weekly. Weekly went rolled back and went bear again. So I'm hoping that we now don't lose. We don't want to see 140 break. Otherwise, this is going to come back and double bottom down here at $80. Oh wow, that's all-time lows. Well, at least that's all-time lows on Binance. Is there another chart? BitMEX, Coinbase, Bitstamp. Nope, that is all-time lows, I guess. All right, so if Ethereum is going to live and ever see its all-time high prices, $80 would be a buy of a lifetime. But we're not going to get all hyped up and pray for that just yet. We're going to play it day by day and see how it develops. So what we're expecting now, if we went back to this chart, let's go back to our daily, is we're going to hopefully expect to see what I just showed for Bitcoin. So we got a big drop. The big drops usually going to follow with a sideways consolidation period, and then we're going to catch a relief bounce. So we want to see something similar in nature. I don't know why I just made that red. I already got a red channel. So we want to see something similar in nature and repeat this pattern here. And still at the same time respect this channel. So we should see some sideways movement for the rest of the year maybe, and then catch a bounce back up to about 175 or so. Okay, so that's Ethereum. Litecoin, I honestly don't even know why we have Litecoin. I've never understood it, but what a massive monster bounce run. I mean, this is 500% from a year ago. And now it looks like we're well on our way to test a double bottom. I don't see anything whatsoever bullish about this chart, except for the fact. So this is what I expect Bitcoin to do. So imagine if this was 3K Bitcoin right here. And then Bitcoin had its nice big run up to 14,000, and now it's just working and snaking its way back down. So this is kind of what Bitcoin is doing right now, and it's going to dump and find support back up above the bottom here, which would put that in that 4,100 to 5,000 range that I mentioned for Bitcoin. So for Litecoin, yeah, we may catch a test here at $41. There's nothing really showing right here on the daily yet that this bleed out is done. So it may catch a little bounce and then catch that one last dip and then sideways consolidating before catching another bounce there. But it doesn't look near ready. This MACD does not say it's ready yet. But again, let's also note we are kind of bullish diverging right here. Okay, so price is making a lower low. Here's a low, here's a low, here's a low, and our RSI is making a higher low. So here's a low, and it's kind of double testing that same, almost that same price, just a wee bit above. So this is the daily. So we do want to wait for the close to consider that there. Actually, this one did close right here. So here's a low and a higher low, and then we have 3 lower lows here. So it's not out of the woods yet. I think it'll end up bleeding back down to about $40 to $41 or so before catching a bounce and test this little support right here. So I don't think Litecoin is quite ready yet. So it's going to do what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. In any case, I don't like that. That's not a good way to draw a trend line because there's no previous touches in here. We're kind of just guessing on it. At least if we took a trend line here, we can see 1, 2, 3 touches, and then this broke the trend line. But that's too ugly of a trend line. In any case, we wouldn't consider Litecoin bouncing until we see some sideways consolidation and it's not making lower lows here. Okay, so let's go look at a few altcoins. We got a few alt calls currently. So WAN Chain was certainly one of them, and we've been following this one all the way back from September. Hey, Smoking Jay. No, I'm sorry, not September. I think we were looking at WAN probably somewhere around mid-October here. So WAN has been playing out, and if anybody has been following this on Twitter, has been played out almost beautifully. We're looking for a cup and handle type situation. Now, they do have some fundamental updates coming out in December. So I expect this to kind of regain some control. Now, WAN did go from the bottom here. WAN did go on a 200% run. It was beautiful, great bounce out of that zone. And then now we fell back into this consolidation accumulation pattern after that bounce. So you can see where our support held here, right up above the bottom here. So it did not make a new low. So this whole accumulation pattern here was almost 3 months. So we about 2.5, almost 3 months of accumulation, and you can see it rounding out this bottom here. And what we were looking at, what I was predicting from back here in September, October, was pretty well exactly this. So we were looking for a cup and handle pattern forming on this massive high time frame here, and so far it has played out absolutely perfectly. I mean, beautiful. So I'm not going to get too excited, and I'm not going to start jumping up and screaming and whatever until it actually forms the right side of this cup and respects this this curve pattern here. So I want to see price to consider a cup and handle. It has to at least come somewhere up here, maybe not that high. I think it can come up here. So it doesn't have to come all the way back up to this wick, but it does have to at least come back and touch or form somewhere up here near the candle body closes. And these are just other two resistance zones here if anybody's in the scalping. So this is a swing trade for me, no doubt. A very nice strong 12-hour candle right there. Good pushback from the Bitcoin dump that did kind of take some alts down. Let's go look at the 5-day time frame. Look at the 5-day. Much stronger candle structure. Good uptrend still on the MACD. Look at the OBV inching its way up. RSI is on its way up. So this is very telling that this is going to play out quite perfectly. Strong candle right here above the 20-day moving average. Very strong. You can see it bounced, wicked right there. You can see that wick right off of the 7-day and then bounced. So it's still showing a very strong uptrend. So I think WAN is still looking in pretty good shape right here. So that's WAN. WAN looks good. No major breakdown. I think it's just going to kind of snake its way up and work its way up there going into next month. So I think by Christmas, I'd probably give this another month. I think by Christmas we'll come up here and we'll retest this level. So it's got about 60-70% more that can go, but for those of us that are playing margin with Forex leverage, this is still about 240-250% profit that we can make off of this. So I don't think anybody's going to complain with that. So WAN's looking pretty sharp. Okay, so Theta is another one that we've been following. All right. Had to get a sip there. All right, so Theta has been in this long accumulation pattern. I mean, this is going on 150 days now. That's almost 4 months that WAN has been in this accumulation pattern, and it finally had just started to show some signs that it was going to break out and break up above this 200-day moving average. That was, of course, until Bitcoin decided to do something stupid and take altcoins back down. So you can see even all the way back from July, there's been no major break, no major price close below the accumulation zone. So I think theta is still good as long as we hold, above about 950 or so. We'll call it 950 to make sure that we don't start breaking these wicks down here at the bottom. So theta still looks in pretty good shape. The only thing that concerns me is that this may take a few more days because this looks like it's going on a small reset. So you can see the first pop here and the MACD went under, but it was a shallow reset on the MACD with the price still holding above that pattern. So I would expect the same thing to happen and just kind of scrape here, maybe hold above 980 one more time and then catch that pop and finally break out. Do something similar with the MACD again as well. So this is what we want to see. So as long as we hold above 950 overall, I think the overall structure is still intact and it's not making any new lows. This has been one really annoying coin to follow for the past month now. So two near breakout patterns. Bitcoin took it down with this right here with the Bitcoin dump, and I don't remember if Bitcoin killed the run here too. This is probably that big 40% candle that Bitcoin saw that just killed that run right there. But overall, the structure still looks fine. I mean, it's just got to get some more upward momentum here and start breaking and closing above 1200. Okay, CMT. CMT is another one. This one also looks kind of relatively similar. Let me go out to a higher time frame here. This one looks relatively similar to WAN. So we're in an accumulation pattern here. Okay, and it's, so for the most part, we're respecting this curve line here. It's a low cap coin, it's a low supply coin, so it's really an easy candidate for a pump group or a runner or whatever. Nice reset here on the 6 hour, so I'm hoping to see this start to snake up. So this was the bottom structure here, and this was a macro or bigger picture accumulation pattern right here. And if anybody follows wick-off patterns in this accumulation, this last little dump right here below was the spring. And I'll pull that up real quick. Okay, so this is roughly what every altcoin is looking like. So we see the accumulation, we see some tops, and we see a bottom formation, and we see price action kind of bouncing around in an accumulation pattern, which is very, very similar to what's going on with CMT, as well as pretty much any other altcoin that's out there that hasn't broken out and gone on monster runs yet. So, oh, sorry, move that back up. Okay, so here's our top of the accumulation pattern. Here's our bottom. Here's the price action all kind of bouncing inside of that accumulation pattern. And this dip right here would be this spring. So we're still waiting on this breakout pattern if Bitcoin can behave and let it play. But it's still not, again, still holding over 190, which would be the invalidation point before it makes a new low. So if it breaks below 190, well, it's going to be bad news for CMT. But currently, the way that this 6 hour MACD is shaping up, see if we maybe kind of snake its way up, catch a reset, and then push, then price action would do something similar, snake its way up, reject off of 220, 230, and then this is what I want to see. So December would prove to be pretty well good for CMT. Now again, this is a low cap, low supply coin. If anybody knows anything about this coin, I'm not too familiar with it, except that it is a blockchain for the e-commerce, so for like eBay and Amazon and Alibaba and stuff. So here we are at a $12 million market cap. Look at this supply, only 800 million. So it's well below a billion. and they only got 200 million more coins that they can put out onto the market. So the chart is overall bottomed, and their Twitter following is ginormous. Let me go look at this. Look at this. They have almost 300,000 followers. This is more than any altcoin I have ever seen. A lot more than Chainlink even. So Chainlink only has 38,000 followers, but they have more hype and they're shilled more than Cybermiles. So I am uncertain why they have so many followers and this is just not some monstrously mooning coin. So I don't know, either something's fishy there or it'll just gain hype once it. Twitter will probably start talking about it once it's back up here around 350. So once they've missed, you know, the whole first 80% of this run, that's when Twitter will start hopping on board and pumping those bags further. Who knows? But overall, the structure of CNT is also very well intact. So let's go on to AGI. AGI is another alt we're watching. If any of you guys have any altcoin requests, please just put them out there in the chat, and we can certainly look at any coins that you guys are in. We're just kind of scanning and keeping up with some coins that we're currently already following. But if you got anything that you want looked at, just throw it out there and we'll have a look. Okay, so AGI, Singularity Net. I don't want to know what's going on right here. Singularity Net. Okay, so the big thing that happened recently with Singularity, this was just last week, that they enabled PayPal onto, or PayPal and allowed AGI to enable them onto their platform and their services. So this is pretty big to be kind of partnering up with a big company like PayPal. Of course, it didn't moon the price, but that integration allows to, or put AGI kind of like on the map, so to speak, that hey, another blockchain company just partnered with somebody big. So if PayPal starts to integrate, their AI services and whatnot, I think it'll be good for AGI in the long run. So this is another really, really interesting project that I do know a fair amount about. It's just another one that I don't understand why it hasn't mooned. It's a solid project. Dr. Goebbels or Gortzel, however you pronounce his name. He's quirky and he's weird, but the dude is freaking brilliant. He's a genius. He reminds me of the guy from Independence Day, that kooky, weird scientist dude or whatever that was underground that also had like the shaggy hair and whatnot and the glasses. But anyways, so that's very good for AGI that they got that partnership or that collaboration with PayPal. So now we just want to see the price follow through. So we've been looking at this falling wedge right here, or not this falling wedge, this descending triangle. And we got that breakout right here when we crossed over 250. And now we see price did a backline test. Oops. Okay, so price did a backline test. So it broke out of this wedge, got a first good little pop, and then it came back and you could see it tested and touched that line, the backside of that line. So that's what a backline test is. At the same time, it came back and revisited and found support off of some key support zones right here. So this is a good place to find a support resistance flip. So now we just want to see a follow through. We still want to see our first target up here of 360. So we want to see that just kind of snake up that way and then catch another reset back down to about the current price and then flip the top of this price action right about there. Okay, so we want to see a follow through here. We want to see a follow through come up and test our first target and then catch a reset, and then we want to find support base right here off the top of this whole confluence zone here, then build a new base, and then catch that next push for weekly time frames. So if you guys are looking at altcoins on pretty much across the board, you can look at almost any single one of them that hasn't gone on 300-400% runs. I think this is really at the point now where we just want to hold these coins. So prime example, look at RLC. Now look at all of the candle structures here in this monstrous move. I mean, this thing is still going. Okay, so this is back in September when it bottomed, and since then it's gone on 560% run. So this run has now gone on for about 80 days. So almost 3 months, about 2.5 months here. So I think this is now what we're going to start to see for altcoins. Is we're not going to see, you know, the 2017 days where, you know, like here you get like a 200% candle in a single day. This is going to be much more controlled and slower. So this is going to be great if you're a swing trader and you don't have time to look at charts every day, or, you know, 17 times a day or whatever. So we're just kind of at that point now where alts are coming out of accumulation patterns, and they're just going on these runs that, you know, go on for 3-4 months. So this is what I noted for Bitcoin also, with the slow controlled takedown that Bitcoin is doing. The reverse is going to happen with altcoins. Altcoins, look at these candles. These aren't monstrous 30-40% candles. And nobody knew that RLC, for example, had done this, because I don't remember seeing RLC tweeted hardly at all. We can go back and we can look at Lind. Lind is another example. So again, back in September, and at the peak, 73 days that it took Lind to come all the way up here and do 800, oh my God, 800% from the bottom in under 3 months. So this is what we can expect from altcoins when they break out of their pattern. So if you're looking for altcoins like Theta or CMT even, I mean, they're going to be these slow controlled ones that nobody's looking at, nobody's paying attention to. And then over the course of, you know, 2-3 months, they're just going to go on really nice runs and nobody's going to pay attention. I mean, here's 350% potential for Cyber Miles, for example. Now I got 4x leverage on that, so that's going to be a 12x run for me, and I'm just going to let it ride. Same for AGI and Theta even. If Theta... Okay, so here we have a high target for a good resistance zone on Theta for an 83%. And with 4x leverage on it, that's, you know, 320%. If Theta were to come back and meet all-time highs, that's really not that far. That's only 260% to almost get back up there, maybe 350% to re-reach all-time highs. So there's a lot of potential left for altcoins going into the rest of the year. So the key is just to get out of these accumulation patterns. Right at the bottom, you can see how it's just taking months to really get moving and get going. TNT was another one. Very not so known coin. Nobody really talked about it. But again, look, here we are in September again, 320%. And that run took, you know, about 45 days or so, so a month and a half. So this is what we can expect out of alts for the next few months if Bitcoin remains relatively steady and controlled. Altcoins, we're not going to see, you know, 300% candles in a single day. They're just going to slowly grind up. So I would be very, very cautious for anybody that is wanting to scalp. I honestly wouldn't advise scalping. unless there's a clear rejection on like a daily time frame or a weekly time, or not weekly, daily time frame or something, where you can scalp it and catch a pullback, sure. But if we're looking, you know, at weekly candles, weekly charts, which is what I advise everybody to do, is weeklies would show clear uptrends. And you can see what I mentioned earlier about the 7-day moving average. All price candles above the 7-day moving average and after crossing over that 20-day moving average. So there's very key signs there for continuation of patterns and trends and whatnot. So I would be cautious on trying to scalp altcoins. I'd probably look at more swing trading them and patiently holding them, but keeping yourself a scalp bag so you can't scalp them. You wanted to ask for TNT. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it depends on what time frame you're looking at for a cup and handle. So the right side, if this is what you're looking at for that cup and handle, that right side didn't quite make it as high. I don't know if I'd consider that, because typically a cup and handle, from the peak of the left side of the cup, the right side should come about as high as the left side before forming that handle. This one didn't quite make it, but I don't think anybody's going to really say otherwise, really. I mean, I guess that would be okay. Now, now just keep in mind though, with cup and handle patterns. Oh, more like July from now. Well, here's July. This no, because there's no handle here. So this is what you're looking at. So for this to be a valid cup and handle, yes, this was a pretty decent forming of the bottom of the cup. What would not make this a cup and handle is if you got like some kind of pop up here in the center. Bottom of the cups more round out like this. Pretty well exactly what WAN is doing right here on the 12-hour. It's a just slow bottomed out, slow grind rounding out the bottom of the cup into accumulation. And then the right side of the cup. So for this to be a valid cup, this should have rejected here and at least reached halfway down the right side of the cup before catching that pop. So I wouldn't consider this a cup and handle. You said July, so I'm assuming you meant from this peak here. Phenomenal run though, absolutely great run, but I wouldn't consider that a cup and handle because the rejection point would have had to reject it here, and then fall back about halfway to that cup, and then popping. I don't know about you guys, but if any of you guys are leveraging altcoins on Binance or CoinDCX, and you're getting into a coin down here at the bottom and you just let them ride, and yeah, that's 300%, which nobody would complain about, but if you got 4x on it, I mean, you're basically making 2017 type profits with 1200% profits on a 3x run. So I would be very patient with some of these altcoins breaking out of this bottom pattern and swing trading them. Yeah, it'll just obviously take, you know, several weeks, several months or so to reach these high targets. So I would be very cautious on trying to scalp them because you could cut yourself short on some serious profit. What else you guys got? Any other requests or anything? If not, I mean, that's all I got. So I just wanted to take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then just kind of skim through some alts and show you guys a few structures, a few setups that look good. I would really like to see the market cap for altcoins perk back up. I like to see money flowing back into altcoins on the market cap there. So this looks like a little bit of a bullish divergence showing here. Let me see. Nope, maybe not. That's making a lower low at the same as price. Okay, so no divergence on altcoin market cap. But it did retest that support, so now I want to see at least a hold, and then getting back up there by the end of the year. Let me see. I'm just waiting to see if you guys have any requests or anything before I log out and close out or anything. Okay, if that's it, thank you guys for tuning in. I will post this recording in both of our group and the Edge group. So if any of your guys' members missed the live stream or anything, and you know, hopefully caught some little education here, learning how to read different things or whatever, it'll be there and available for you guys. And I'll pop in and help out with both groups and whatnot from time to time. And since Cobra is helping us, it's part of an agreement that we help Edge group as well, and just kind of look out for each other and help each other learn stuff, and spot some good setups so we can all make money. All right, so I'm going to post this video for you guys so you guys can re-watch it later if you want to, and then I'm going to hop off here and go take a nap and then, I don't know, do something. Thanks, guys.